How's that? Learning Chromebooks.
And we're here.
It is the 23rd of December today. There are, what do we got? 28 in the room so far.
Yep.
And we have a great show for you today. Of course, I'm co-hosting this with Hewie Poplock. Hewie, do you want to say something? You want to wish everyone Merry Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. Of course, if this is the only show of ours that you attend, then a Happy New Year too. Otherwise, you can come back on Monday to Tech for Seniors, and we'll be here before New Year's one more time.
Well, we've also got Learning Chromebook, Tech for Senior Live. One more of those as well.
Yep,
So we've got
two more of those next Thursday, right?
2 more shows before that, yeah. So it should be pretty cool. We have a big show for you today. We actually have three videos that we have prepared for you. So Hugh and I sort of talked about this before, and we thought that we would get on with this so that we can start to go through the videos, and then of course we'll have time at the end of the show to watch, to ask questions and so on and so forth. So we will start, I think, right away. Is that okay with you, Hewie? We'll get going right away?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, we'll get started right away. Now, the first video is a video from me, and it's of course on Chrome OS 96. So I'm going to share my screen now, and we will start that. Good morning, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. If you're watching this on December the 23rd, which is a segment of Learning Chromebooks. This is a monthly production that Hewie Poplock and I do. We missed November because it fell on Thanksgiving. So we thought we'd take time off, and there was no Chrome OS 95. So we're now on 96, which we're talking about today. But before I get into the video, Hewie and I would like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, and please stay safe. So let's pick up where we were in October a couple of months ago. Before we signed off, we had Chrome OS 94. Now, we'd really like you to like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps us continue to make videos for you. So if you're new here, I'd like to just refresh the difference between the Chrome operating system and the Chrome browser. Let's just go back a little bit. We have, of course, the Chrome browser, which is available on all operating systems. About 85% of the world's population use the Chrome browser. Google has done a good job in updating this over the years, and we used to see updates coming around every 4 to 6 weeks. Then, of course, Chromebooks came along, and we had an operating system to run the Chromebooks. This was called Chrome OS, and the Chrome browser was embedded into the operating system. So now we had a Chrome browser, and we had what we call Chrome OS. Two different things there. So what we saw in the past is that Google would update the Chrome browser about every 6 to 8 weeks. Then following this, the Chrome operating system would be updated usually around a month later. Took a little while to get things organized. This year, Google made a decision to update the Chrome browser on a monthly basis. They got the whip out and said to the development team, once a month, we're going to have a new version of the Chrome browser. But also they plan to simultaneously update the Chrome operating system. So the same whip they got out for the development team for the browser, they said for the operating system, we want them to match, and we want it to come out once a month. So they had to mirror the two. But to do that, they missed Chrome OS 95, which should have come out in November. So the goal now is to have an operating system number that will start at the beginning of the month, let's say 96, which is out now, and this would also match the operating system. So at the first of the month, we'll likely see a new version of the Chrome browser, which will be the same number and version as the Chrome operating system, and they should come out together. And December was going to be the month in which this occurred. Big news. So with the Chrome browser being brought out as version 96, they released the Chrome OS 96 at the same time. This occurred in early December, and I got mine on my Pixelbook. Unfortunately, the developers were sort of not ready for this, and this version had a lot of problems, so they stopped the release. So you may have, some of you may have got the release early in the month, but many of you didn't. Now, last week, Chrome OS 96 was re-released, so most of you probably now will be getting the updated version for your Chromebooks now. But this is very short-lived because, of course, January is coming and we would expect Chrome OS 97 to be out very soon. And each month will be going up by one number. And that's why Learning Chromebooks, we're going to talk about this each month and what the new versions have. Now, since they're going to be making these new versions quickly, most of the development will probably be behind the scenes changes. So we won't have a lot of new features each month to discuss. And that is exactly what has happened with Chrome OS 96. There are some changes which I'll talk about today, but very few features that are really new. All right, what does all this mean to you as a user of a Chromebook? It means nothing. Because Chromebooks are so simple, you don't have to worry about updating your operating system. It does it all for you. Yes. Now, I just wanted to refresh your memory. There are two copies of the operating system on your Chromebook. There's a primary copy and a secondary copy. And it's the secondary copy that gets updated. It just happens when you're on the internet. It does it in the background. And then when you're not looking, your Chromebook switches them, and the primary becomes the secondary. And the secondary, of course, becomes the primary. So then you get the updated version of the operating system. And it does it when you're not looking. Or actually how it happens is when you turn your computer off and repower it back on. Now, if you're like someone like myself, I never do that. When I am finished with my Chromebook, I just close the lid. And then I come back and I open it up, work on it, then I just close the lid. So if I never powered it off, I wouldn't get that new copy of my Chrome operating system, and that's important. So what I would tell you is this. If you are just a lid closer like I am, try to power your Chromebook off once a week, then it will flip the copies and you'll get all the updates. Not a big deal. If you're someone like myself who's a lid closer and I don't repower it, then I go and I manually update the Chrome operating system. In fact, since I write articles about this, I do this every morning because I want to know exactly when the next version comes out. So I do it manually. And I've shown you this before, but I just wanted to review this, how to update the Chrome operating system manually. It's very simple. So let's come down onto my menu here. You'll see that, of course, I have this is the menu down on the right side. We're going to come up here and we're going to click Settings. Now, over on the Settings, I want you to come way over here on the left side, and I'd like you to come over to About Chrome OS. Click this, and you'll come up and you'll see this menu here. This gives you the version, and this is the version, of course, I'm on, which is version 96. Then we're going to check for updates. Just click this button here, and it says my Chromebook is up to date. Now, if there was a update for it, it would download it. You can continue on working, doing other things on your Chromebook, and they'll give you a little notification and say, hey, let's restart. And when you restart it, it switches the copies. So you really don't have to worry about it. It's all going to be done for you. All right, let's look at some changes that have occurred in Chrome OS 96. Now, the main feature change is in the camera app. So let's have a look at it. Let's bring our mouse down. We're going to come to the launcher. Here we are. And now we're going to click on the camera app. All right, so here we have the camera app in place. And you'll see at the bottom, there are 4 tabs here. There's video, photo, square, and scan. And we'll go over those in just a minute. Now remember, it depends if your Chromebook has a forward or rear facing camera. Most of you probably have a camera that is facing towards you. In other words, it's used for Zoom meetings. We don't have cameras on the back of your Chromebook. So this does change how you use this feature slightly. All right, so let's come over and say, suppose we want to record a video of ourselves. We're then going to come over and we're going to click the video recording, and this now will take a video. You have some options here. Coming over to the left side, way over to the left here, you're going to see a little timer. If you turn this on, it's a 3-second timer and gives you 3 seconds before it starts. After the timer, you can come up, and this is for the grid. So if we turn this on or off, we can turn on the 1/3 feature grid, which you'll see on the screen. Now, as we move up, we can then flip the image, and I'll show you how this works in a minute. We can either, by clicking this, watch, I can flip around on one side or the other. There we go. So that's on the video. So you can record videos of yourself with your Chromebook. Now let's come over here to the photo. Well, now we're going to take pictures of ourselves. Again, the camera is aiming towards you. You have all the options again on the left side, so I'm not going to go over them, but you can just take a picture now of yourself or whatever is on your screen. So the next feature, come over, there's actually a square picture that it does, and this takes a different size picture, and this can be good for social media such as TikTok, which requires a certain format. Now, a new feature that they've brought out in your Chromebook, you can come over now and click the scan. And this is where we bring this up here, and we can either scan a document or we can scan a QR code. So let's suppose we want to scan a document. Now remember, again, this is a little bit different because you have likely a Chromebook sitting in a clamshell position where you have the screen and keyboard. So how would you scan a picture? Or let's say a document. How would you scan a document? Well, let's try that. So I have a document here, which I'm going to hold up. And what we're going to do is I'm going to click our scanner. We're going to bring this up. So let's see how to scan a document. I have a document here in my hand, and we're going to scan it. So you see, as soon as I bring this up, you'll see, let's hold it in front of the camera here. You'll see that it outlines itself. Let me just move this over here. You'll see that it outlines itself and identifies the document. So we now are then going to take a picture of this. We'll click the button of it. And here is the image. Now we can save this as a photo. We can save this as a JPEG, or we can save this as a PDF. And then we're going to save this as a photo, and it's now saved. Now if we come over to QR code, again, we just bring the QR code up, and it will scan it into the system. So you have your choice of either a document or a QR code. So the change in the Chrome OS 96 was mostly in the camera app. Now, I certainly don't scan images or documents into my Chromebook using the camera app. To me, with the camera facing me, this is very cumbersome. I do all my scanning using my cell phone. Your cell phone is by far the best scanner you have, and you have it right in your hand. Google has a Google Drive app that goes on your phone, and you can scan it right into any Google file with the Google widget on your phone. I've actually done a video for this, and I'll put it in the link below. Well, until we see you in about a month for Chrome OS 97, have a great month, and we'll see you back soon. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, and don't forget that like and subscribe thing.
It makes it necessary that if you really need to use the feature of scanning and taking pictures a lot with it, then you're going to probably want to look for a Chromebook that has the camera on the opposite side too, so you can take pictures the right way, and you can actually hold them up and hold it down to be able to get a document or a group of people and so on. Okay, ready for mine? Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Chromebooks, tips and tricks. I'm Hewie Poplock. We have some information about Chromebook today for you. This is another in a series of tips and tricks about your Chromebooks. Enjoy. Use Chrome Overview. There's a built-in overview mode on your Chromebook that lets you see every open window at a glance. On the top row of the keyboard, just press the Show Window key button. That's just above the 6 key, or swipe down from the top with 3 fingers on your trackpad or touch screen to go into the overview. Clicking on any of the thumbnails, you will open that window, and clicking a blank space will return you to the last window you were viewing. If you find yourself with a lot of windowed apps running all of the time, this is a great time saver. So you can choose any of the desks that I have. You can name them what you want. I've named this one Demo, and that's the one we're in. I can switch over to this one, and I can open something in this window. Let's go ahead and open this. And then if we do this, we could see that we've got 3 in that particular desktop. You can see which desktop it is because there's a white line around it. And you can switch to any one back and forth, or just go into a blank spot and it'll open to the last one you were in. Besides the Show Window key, there's an Alt-Tab besides the Chrome Overview. You can use Alt-Tab to move from window to window or desktop to desktop. Let me go ahead and minimize this. Now, if I hit Alt and then Tab, I've got this, so I can look at all desks. And by that, I can just, holding down the Alt key, just keep hitting the Tab, and it will go from one to the next, and then start over again. Or I can go just to the current desk. It'll show the windows are there, and I can scroll through which one I want, let it go, and there it is. So you've got the Chrome Overview, and you've got Alt-Tab that you can use to decide which open program or app that you want to use, or which desktop you want to use. Free up space on your Chromebook. If your Chromebook is running low on disk space, there's some ways to delete the files you don't need anymore. First, how do you check how much storage is being used? At the bottom right, select the time, and then go up to Settings, then go to Device and Storage Management. Here you'll see how much is in use and how much is available. I have about a third of my storage space used. I'm not in danger, but let's look at what you can see. Number one, you can see my files. I have almost 7 gigabytes in my files, which would be on my local drive on my Chrome. One place we might want to look is look in the downloads. If we click here, we can see there's a lot of files. So what I probably should do is either delete a lot of things that I don't need, or just copy it all over to my Google Drive and store it in the cloud and delete it off my local storage. You can look at other places to see where it is as well. We have some browsing data. What do you do with the browsing data? You can clear that out by going here. You can click the browsing history, the cookies, and cached images and files. You can just click on clear data and a lot of that will go away. Or you can go to the advanced and you can pick and choose certain things. In the browsing history, I got 1,415 items. Download history, I've got 26 items, cookies from 1,162 sites. It will not remember that you've been on a particular website. And then any cached images, it may speed up your loading time, so it might cost you a few seconds if you delete those items. But you can see you can get rid of other things as well. And if you have more than one user on your Chromebook, you might want to think about deleting that if you don't need it. If it's not necessary, you may have set up a temporary user on your Chromebook and you no longer need to keep that. If you're almost out of disk space, a message will show devices low on space. Free up your space or select data may be automatically deleted. You might also have problems with downloading files, loading web pages, changing or saving settings like passwords, adding new user accounts to your Chromebook, or using Android apps. You might want to see how much you have in apps and extensions. You might need to delete some of the apps that you've installed over time on your Chromebook. This is also true if you have an Android or even an iPhone and you start running short of space. You might want to eliminate some apps that you don't use or any extensions to the browser. The system you really can't do much about. That's the amount of space that the operating system takes on your drive. So if you have 32 gigabytes on your Chromebook and it's taking up 28.2 gigabytes on just system, you don't have a lot of storage space left. So just bear that in mind as well. So some ideas to free up storage space. Again, delete files you don't need from your Chromebook. Remember that you can move files to Google Drive if you want more space. Clear your browsing data, which I showed you. You can uninstall apps. You can remove any extra user accounts. So remember, if your Chromebook runs low on space, it might automatically delete your downloaded files, browsing data, cache, or unused accounts. See all of your keyboard shortcuts. By now, you know that Chrome OS is full of handy keyboard shortcuts for things like reloading a page or going to your home page in the browser. In fact, there are so many, it's almost impossible to keep track of all of them. Finding out just what you can do so you know which ones to remember is easy. If you press Control, Alt, and question mark, Control, Alt, and question mark, you will see the keyboard shortcuts. It's divided into groups, and each one is listed by popular shortcuts, tabs and windows, page and web browser, system and display settings, text editing, and accessibility. Just to show you, let's take a look at system and display settings. You can bring up Task Manager by search plus the escape key. The search is the everything button. So if I hold that and escape, there is the Task Manager. So any of these, if you want to display zoom out, zoom in, check the icon, and so on, you can come down and look at all of these, find which ones will help you the most and learn them first. Only learn a few at a time or you'll get confused. So that's how you see all of your keyboard shortcuts in one place on your computer. You don't have to have a cheat sheet. However, you can print them out if you want. Use an SD card for extra storage. Most Chromebooks offer an SD card slot of some kind, be it a micro SD or a standard SD. While the SD card slot helps transfer pictures off your camera and get them up to Google Drive or moving files between computers, it may be most beneficial for many people as a semi-permanent external storage because you'll often have no more than 32 gigabyte or maybe 64 gigabytes of internal storage on your Chromebook. You may find yourself wanting more. Pop a 64 gig or bigger SD card into your Chromebook and use it just like you would the local or Google Drive storage. The SD card shows up in the Files app just like another folder where you can use it any way you like. Let's look to see how to find out how big your internal drive is in your Chromebook. If you come down here and then go to Settings, then in Settings you want to go to Device, and then you want to go to Storage Management. You will see I have combined with in use and available about 128 gigabyte drive internally in my Chromebook. If I wanted more, I'm not using a lot. I'm using about a third. But if I wanted more storage, I have available and have done so is added an SD card. Now, how do I know that I have an SD card? Let's close this. And we're going to open up Files. And in Files, you'll see that I have an SD card installed on there. If I click on it, you'll see that I have some folders and so on, but it doesn't tell me how big it is. So what's the way to do that? Well, I've installed an app that should be able to tell me that. So let's go find that app. It's called COG. It's right here, System Information, COG System Information. When I click on it, it shows that I have I basically have 128 gigabytes SD card in here. So I have 256 gigabytes of storage that I leave in my Chromebook at all times. I'm not taking it out. I could take that disk out, put another disk in from a camera or from another computer with files on it, copy the files either to Google Drive or to my local drive on my Chromebook, then take that cutout, put the one that I keep in it all the time. We will learn in a future tip on how to clean files off to make more room on your internal storage device. Chromebooks, tips and tricks. I'm Hewie Poplock.
Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Installing Zoom on your Chromebook. What tips can I give you and what problems I've seen people have? The first part of this video is going to outline how to install Zoom on your Chromebook. We're then going to look at different types of apps such as progressive web apps, Android apps, and where to find them on your Chromebook. So let's get on with the show. I'm going to put in the outline below timestamps for this so you can move ahead to the sections that you're interested in. So let's have a look how to install Zoom on your Chromebook. So you remember the like and subscribe thing. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see us continue to make more videos like this. So Hewie Poplock and I have a show called Tech for Senior on Monday mornings. You can find information about it at www.techforsenior.com. Many of our audience use Chromebooks for communication into our Zoom meeting. And we often get questions about they can't see live transcript, how to turn it on. A lot of the controls are different. It's like people are using different software. How can this all be different, right? It should all be the same. Well, in fact, people are using different software. Now let me explain where the confusion comes in and what you should do to get the best experience when you're using your Chromebook for a Zoom meeting. I'll show you how to do this. All right, let's log into a Zoom meeting using my Zoom account on a Chromebook. You'll see there are two Zoom buttons at the bottom here. I'm going to use the one on the left. Now, we are going to join a Zoom meeting now, so I'm going to be typing the meeting ID in. Now, as I do this, I want you to familiarize yourself with the menu. Is this the one that you are using, and is this the one you're familiar with? It certainly will not be if you're used to a Windows machine. But let's see us logging in now. I'm going to click the don't want video or audio because I'm actually zooming in on another computer in my office here for the meeting. So we're now going to connect. Now remember, I am doing this on my Chromebook and recording the screen. So we're now connecting into the meeting, and the host will let us in. So he has, and you'll see this is the menu that brings up. And of course, we're not doing audio or visual, but these are the options we have. We can view settings, and we have some basic settings here. We can look at our audio, look at accessibility. We'll X out of that. We can, in fact, look at the participants. If we click here, you'll see the participants are on the right side. And we can raise our hand. We can invite. And come up here, we'll see the host. And we'll see I'll be the participant. This is the top one is our screen. We can share our screen if we want. And we can chat. Now, what I want you to do is watch this carefully. We can even come up to gallery view, and we can change the view here to a couple of different views. But there are a lot of things lacking. This does not look like the menu on a Zoom meeting on Windows. For example, you can't trigger live transcription. So this gets a bit confusing now. So let's log out and look at how we might do this again. All right, let's do this again, and we're going to come down onto the shelf, and we're going to use the Zoom icon on the right side. We're going to click this, and things look a little different now. This does not look like the menu we had just prior. So we come up here, and we're going to put in Join Meeting. We're going to type the meeting number in again. And I want you to watch the menu. It's a completely different menu and app that you're going to see. All right, we're typing it in, and let's join. Okay, joining meeting. Host is letting us in. Wow, things look a little different. Let me just, let's just go to full view here. Doesn't that look like Windows? Yes. Here we are. Again, I don't have the audio or visual turned on because I don't want conflict between our microphones. But here we have security, participants, polls, share screen, chat, record, live transcription right there, break rooms, reactions, settings. Click this. Not quite all the features, but pretty much the same as your Windows version now. You can look at the background. We can even choose backgrounds to put in here. Lots of options for you, as this app looks a lot like the Windows app that you would use using Zoom on Windows 10. We even come to gallery view, or we can speaker view. Again, lots of options here, and this menu would look very familiar to you if you were a Windows user. All right, two different apps, two different experiences, eh? And if you look carefully on the shelf, you'll see that those two apps, the icons for them are a bit different. All right, so they are two different apps on my Chromebook. The first one that you saw was an Android app. This is an app that if you went to the web portal on Zoom with your Chromebook logged in, it would probably download that app onto your Chromebook. Also, if you went to the Play Store a while ago, and I'm not exactly sure how far back, you would have found the Android app there and downloaded it and put it on your Chromebook. All right. However, things have changed. In this past year, we have what we call a progressive web app. This is now what we use on your Chromebook. And that was the second one that I showed you. And it was almost exactly the same as the Windows Zoom app. And that is why we had this confusion on our Monday show when people are saying, no, I can't see live transcription. I don't see any of that. And other people are saying, yeah, I see it. It's all there. So this solves the confusion. There's two different apps and people have two different apps on their Chromebook. So I want to show you now how to download the progressive web app for your Chromebook. It's really simple now, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. We're going to talk about what exactly is a progressive web app a little bit later, but let me just get to this and show you how it's done now. All right, I'm on my Chromebook now, and let's come down on the lower left side to the launcher. Okay, we're going to click this, and we're going to come up, and you'll see right away it says here, Play Store. So let's go to the Play Store. This is where we're going to download our apps for our Chromebook. So up here in the search, we're going to type in Zoom, and we're going to hit Enter. And what's going to happen is this is going to search the whole Play Store for the Zoom app. And what you're not going to see is the old apps. And we'll talk a bit about this later. But here you'll see I have installed on this Chromebook Zoom for Chrome, and it is a PWA. And this should be the only one that you see when you go now to the Play Store. There will be no other apps. This is the one that you want to install on your Chromebook. Please remove any other Zoom apps on your Chromebook and install this, and then you will have the menu system that we had in the second app that I showed you. Now, if you don't see the Play Store on your launcher menu, you may not have enabled it. Let's come down over to on the right-hand side, and let's go to our Settings menu. We're going to click Settings, and then I want you to come down the list here until we come to Apps. And you'll see here Google Play Store. Now I of course have mine enabled. You may not have this enabled, and you'll see this as a toggle switch that will want you to enable it. If Chromebooks are often used in schools, so it is very common that administrators don't want students downloading apps onto their school Chromebook. So that option can be turned off. So if you can't find the Play Store, then you should come down here and see if it's not enabled. That's most likely the cause. All right, I've been using Chromebooks for the past, I guess about 12 years. My very first Chromebook, I was so excited when in 2016, Google announced that the Android Play Store was coming to Chromebooks, because before that, we just had the web store. You'll find it still available on your Chromebook, but of course it's slowly going to be phased out. We were so excited about the Play Store coming to our Chromebook in 2016. It was a big deal. What happened in 2016 was interesting, as all the Android apps suddenly were available for our Chromebook. Well, there were some hiccups with this. And part of the problem were a lot of the Android apps had been developed for smartphones. And of course, the viewing size was totally different and not meant for a large screen. So there was a confusing period where some of the apps that you downloaded didn't really work that well. And that was in 2016. Now what's happened as the Chromebooks have matured is that things have got a little bit clearer. You may take your Android smartphone and find some apps that you really like on it. And you think, oh gosh, I'm going to download those onto my Chromebook. You then go to the Play Store on your Chromebook and you can't find them. So what has happened now is that Google only shows you on your Chromebook apps that will actually work. Now this is a huge advantage to Chromebooks. We'll talk about this a bit later. So in the last year, we've developed a new type of app, and that is called a progressive web app, or PWA. Here's the problem. If you're a developer and you're making an app, you have to make it for a Chromebook, you have to make it for an Android device, you have to make it for a Mac device, an iOS device, and a Linux device. Wouldn't it be nice if we just had one app that would work on everything? And that really is what a progressive web app is. And that's what we just saw with Zoom. We saw the old Android app performing against the new progressive web app for Zoom on a Chromebook. And it's just getting better. And that's why we need to replace those old apps with new ones that are PWAs. And you'll see this coming a lot in the future, and I'm going to give you a couple of other examples of this. Now in closing, I just wanted to say you are so lucky to have a Chromebook. They offer some big advantages over a traditional PC. Let me explain this. Let's take Google Photos for example. On a Windows 10 machine, you access Google Photos through your browser. Your browser with Google Photos has some significant limitations. Really, where the power is in the app on your phone. The Google Photos app has much more functionality than looking at the web browser version. But you know, on your Chromebook, you can do it both ways. You have the distinct advantage of being able to see it either as a browser base or as having your Android app on your Chromebook. And so you have really big advantage here. The other is, of course, Google Drive. You can view Google Drive with the Google app, or you can use it from the web. You also have options such as Snapchat. Snapchat is a very advanced photo editing tool, which is free and available, but it's only available as an Android app. Well, guess what? You can put Snapseed on your Chromebook because, of course, it is an Android app. And this allows the advantage of not just editing pictures on a small screen, but you can now do it on a large screen on your Chromebook. Yes. So now I'm just going to show you on my Chromebook just how this might look. I've now logged into my Chromebook, and at the bottom of my Chromebook on the shelf, you'll see two sets of apps. Let's look at the Google Photo first. In the Google Photo app, you're going to see the Google Photo icon with a little white dot below it. The next one is going to have the Google Photo icon with a little blue dot on the top. So what's the difference? Let's have a look. Let's go to the first one. I'm going to click on this and watch what happens. This, of course, loads Google Photos web version. This is what you'd be seeing on a Windows 10 PC. Now we can tell that that's true because at the top here you'll see that we are at photos.google.com. So this is the web version, and we can see that on a Chromebook. So as I've said before, it works much better if you're in the Android app. It's much more functional. So let's come over to the bottom here and let's click this little icon here. And this brings up the Android app that you would see on your phone. And if you come up here, you'll see, of course, there is no URL because we're in the Android app. Isn't that cool? So now we have the best of both worlds. We can either look at it through the web browser, like Windows 10 people do, but we have the added advantages of having the same app on our Chromebook that you would on your phone and giving you much more functionality. Pretty cool, eh? Now, if we come over, you'll see the next two will, of course, be Google Drive and of course, Google Drive with the icon here. I'm not going to open these up for privacy reasons. I have a lot of personal information on there. But again, if you clicked on the first one, you would, of course, see this as the web version, and the second one here would be with the Google Drive app. So a Chromebook gives you incredible versatility. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Zoom on a Chromebook. Till we meet again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until we meet again, have a great day. All right, there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, so I imagine there's going to be lots of questions. We're all ears, as we might say. And don't forget, the other thing is that not only are these video segments individually, Hewie and I have them individually on our YouTube channel. We also this is being recorded, and Hewie will be sending that out as well as a video for us. So
Yeah, my section is on my channel,
right.
And Ron's are on.
And mine are on mine right now. So
everything's
because we do appreciate, this is the sort of stuff you want to go back and look at it again and play it again. So it's they're already up there, but you will be getting a copy of this recording, which of course will be the whole recording. Bob, you have a question or a comment?
Comment. Windows 11 is going to have Google Apps.
Yes, I read about that. Yes, you're right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can, once you get to Windows 11 and once it's perfected, you will also be able to install PWAs on Windows 11, right, which means you can now have resident apps just like you do on your phone or on the Chromebook.
Right.
And it's now going to be available on Windows as well.
Which will make it real easy because it'll all be the same.
Correct.
Right.
Which is really the functionality in Windows that you didn't have before because you only had access to the web.
That's right. And Google Photos does have a PWA progressive web app available as well. So again, it's just going to get better and better and better. I would really encourage everybody to get the PWA Zoom app off the store and just delete the other ones that you have and put this one on. It will work so much better for you. And then you won't be saying, I can't see the transcription button. I can't see this. I can't see that. That's because you're using the old app. Get rid of it. Get the new one.
I did a video on installing that PWA for the Zoom app.
Oh, did you? Oh, great, Bob. I forgot. You'll have to put that link in. I'll talk to you afterwards about it because I want to put that as a link in my description on the video. That's good. Deadlift, go ahead.
Hey, Ron, this question is for you about the Google Photo. Normally, if I want to use Snapchat, I'd have to do it on my phone after I take the picture and before I send the photo up to Google Photos.
Correct.
So what you're saying is that with the progressive web app, I can go ahead and send the photo up to Google Photos and then work on it with Snapchat.
No, sorry, I misinterpreted. No, that's not how it works. What I was trying to say is that there is, I don't think there's a progressive web app for Snapchat. I don't think so. But the advantage of loading Snapchat on your Chromebook is simply you can now edit the picture just as you've said you do, and you do it exactly the same way, is that you can edit it on a big screen. So it's not your little phone that you're editing on. You got your big screen that you can edit it on and then put it up into Google Photos. But it works exactly the same way either,
But the only way that you can get it on the Chromebook is to transfer it from your phone to the Chromebook, right?
No, the Snapchat, you can install Snapchat right on the Chromebook. It's an app. Just go to the.
But how do I get the picture that I want to work on from my phone to Chromebook?
Oh, I see. Well, you can just download it if it's in. See, normally on a phone, you're taking the picture on your phone. On a Chromebook, you wouldn't be taking the picture, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. All as you do is just download it. Just go to Google Photos, hit the download button, and just download that onto your onto your Chromebook, and then you just import it into Snapchat, edit it, and then you could put it back up into Google Photos.
Okay, so the process then to be able to use a larger picture to work on, because that's one of the problems with working on a phone.
That's right.
Everything's so tiny, you put on your glasses,
exactly.
you still can't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the process then, or the workflow would be to take the picture on your phone, transfer the picture to your Chromebook, and on your Chromebook, you also have Snapchat. So now work on the picture with Snapchat on your Chromebook, and then send it up to Google Photo.
Correct.
And one way you can when you take the picture on your phone, you can then make a copy of it over to your Google Drive, and then just open it up in Google Drive.
Google Drive. Yeah.
To work from your Chromebook, and then upload it to Google Photos.
Right. So you don't have to wire. You don't have to connect it with a wire to your Chromebook. You can just do it with the Google Drive.
Yes.
Okay, that makes it easy too.
Well, it's even easier, Detlef. It's even easier, okay? Because there's a feature which we haven't shown, and maybe we should do this for the next show. It's called what's it called? Nearby sharing. It's called nearby sharing. It's a new feature that's just come out called nearby sharing, and you could pick off the picture right off your phone and transfer it directly onto your Chromebook with the nearby sharing. Okay.
If you have that ability with your phone.
Yeah. If you had that, you can share anything from your Chromebook to your phone. It's called nearby sharing, and it's an option in the settings there, and you can turn that on, and then you can just move the files back and forth from your phone to your Chromebook and back, whichever way you want to go with nearby sharing. So that's even easier.
Jim and Chris better cover this when they come back from Central America.
It's on the list. It's on the list. It's on the list.
Thank you.
Okay, Joan, go ahead.
Hey, Hewie, I wonder why you thought now was a good time to be buying a Chromebook. I have two older Windows laptops, which will go one of these days. So I'm certainly considering a Chromebook, but I was just interested in your reasoning.
Well, the biggest reason is the fact that it's very safe. It's much more difficult, almost impossible to get a virus on it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is when you open it, when you turn it on, you open it up, from the time you start to the time that you're ready to work is about 5 seconds, which is, of course, not what you have in Windows.
No.
Which is a big advantage. If you're used to having a laptop on a Windows machine, you're lucky if you get 2 hours before the battery dies. On most Chromebooks, you're going to get 8, 10, and some of them are even 12 hours on the battery. It's one reason a lot of the schools use them is they can charge them overnight, and then when the kids come in the morning, or if they can take them home and then charge them overnight, when they come in the morning, it's fully charged. It'll go all day long. They don't even have to charge it any time during the day.
Okay, that's a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in most cases, most of the things that you do on your Windows machine, you should be able to do on a Chromebook.
Okay.
If you're doing video editing like Ron and I do, no, Chromebook's not going to be good for that.
It won't be.
But you can plug a mouse into it if you want. Most of them you use the trackpad, or get one. It's a touch screen, so you can move things around on the screen as well. But you can use a mouse with it too.
Okay, thank you.
Joan, just to let you know that the Chromebook of the year for the 3rd year in a row is called this Acer Spin 713. It's called the Acer ACER Spin SPIN 713. It's been Chromebook of the year for 3 years in a row. It's available at Costco, and Costco often has them on sale, and they are actually in Canada. They're on sale today for $200 off. So it is probably, if you're looking at a Chromebook and you have a Costco membership, you may want to check that and see.
I have friends who have Costco memberships.
Yeah, it's called the Spin
I
713.
have them on sale a lot too.
It's an excellent machine. Chromebook of the year, 3 years in a row.
Good, thank you.
Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Just before he does, hang on just a minute. There was a question in the chat box, where can you find COG? It's the green symbol that I showed in the video. I don't have my Chromebook on. I'm using my PC for this meeting, so I can't go look at it, but it's, Jim, if you would just drop me a note, I will get the exact title to pick and choose the one from the Google Store or the Play Store. All right, Bill, go ahead.
Yes, this for you, Hewie. Does using multiple windows use resources like your broadband width and everything?
Probably not broadband, but it is going to be using the resources on your computer. So if you've got, on your Chromebook, so if you've only got 4 gigabytes of RAM, it may not work as well or as easily as 8 would, but I've never had a problem with it. And you're going back and forth, and I think it handles it pretty well.
Good, thank you.
I think we've answered all the questions. I do want to, I really would like everyone to please understand the concept of the fact that you can have an Android app and also a web app on your Chromebook, like I showed you, particularly with Google Photos, because it's a huge advantage that you can learn. And so often I see people, they just, and when you get the Google Photos icon on your shelf at the bottom there, you see, why do I have 2? And then you have to look at there's little dots on them and indicating that they're actually different, okay? And one's, of course, you're reviewing it on the web, and the other, of course, is an app. So you need, and in the case of Google Photos, the app is much more functional because, of course, it's the one that you're using on your cell phone. So it's a concept you really need to understand, because it works to your advantages, and one of the huge advantages of using a Chromebook.
Ron, Susan Barker had a question, and she says, my Chromebook is receiving a message that it will no longer be serviced beginning June 2022.
So to answer that question, all your Chromebooks are licensed a little bit differently than Windows, all right? And so the Chromebook, when you purchase it, has a life expectancy of so many years. Often it's 5 years, 7 years, but there's a life expectancy. In other words, so as long as your Chromebook, your physical Chromebook, is licensed for that period of time, you will get all the upgrades, all the software, everything will happen for the life of that, whatever the expectancy is of that actual Chromebook. Now, what's happening in this case is, of course, you're running into the life expectancy of that Chromebook. In other words, probably 5 or 6 years old now, and it's running into the end of life of it. And after that, it will still work, but you will not get the upgrades on, which is important for your Chromebook. So time to look for a new machine. One of the concerns that needs to be addressed, and I hope they address it this year, is the packaging of Chromebooks in boxes. And it would be nice when you go to purchase a Chromebook, if on the outside of the brown box is the date of which it expires. Because if you're looking at 2 different Chromebooks or models and you can't make a decision, you certainly would want to choose the one that has the longer lifespan, right? That would make sense. And you can't see that on the box. You have to actually look in the Chromebook setting to see when the end of life experience is going to be. So that's a problem. And that is a particular problem if you buy reconditioned Chromebooks on Amazon, because these are all school region, you got to remember there's tens of millions of Chromebooks used in schools, and they're all used in as leasebacks. They're used for 3 years, and then they're leased back, and then they're gone, and they're all put back on Amazon, right? And you get a good deal on a Chromebook. They say they're refurbished. The problem is, if the schools had them for 4 years, and the life expectancy of the Chromebook is 7 years, you don't have that long, right? So you got to be really careful with that. But they're usually good for about 7 years. And on a device, your battery isn't going to last much longer than 7 years anyway. So time to move on after 7 years.
I did a video on the end of life, but I'm quite sure it's on my channel, and I think I did it in one of the Learning Chromebook shows as well.
Right.
If not, we'll have to look and see if we did. If not, I'll have to just go ahead and play it. The end of life is from the time that model was released, not when you bought it.
Right.
The end of life also means it's still going to work. You just don't get the security updates and the updates from Google to the operating system. Other programs will have their updates. And there shouldn't be a problem. You can continue using it, but and there is a website, and I did say this in the video that I did. There's a website where you can go and it lists every model of every year of every Chromebook, and it tells you what the end of life of that model is. And I'd have to look that up. If somebody needs it, get in touch with me or just do a search on Chromebook end of life list, and you should get it. And most of them are about 5 years. You were saying 7. I think 7 is unusual, although they're trying to increase them. But some of the older ones had an end of life of just about 4 years. So if you if you're buying $100 Chromebook or an $89 Chromebook, there's a good possibility you need to check for the end of life on it. It may be very close to the end of life.
That's right. Good point. Good point. Bill, did you have a question? Did you have another
There will
question?
come a time when you will not be able to use that Chromebook anymore. I was a beta tester for Google before the Chromebooks were released, and Google actually supplied the Chromebook that we used to do the beta testing. And that Chromebook, I still have it. It's a nice paperweight because it no longer functions.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Bill, did you have another question? I wasn't quite sure if you're.
Yes, I was just typing into the comments. In your example of having 2 apps on your taskbar, like you had with Google Photos,
Right.
Should you have both in case you're offline and can't get on the internet?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can keep them both on. I mean, obviously the web version won't work if you're not online, and
Right.
the app does, and the app does. So sure. Yeah, keep them both. I keep them, Google Photos, I keep them both on my taskbar. Doesn't matter.
And you don't have to have them on the shelf.
On
at
the shelf, yeah.
taskbar. You don't have to have them there, but you can still have them and go out. I have two versions of Screencast-O-Matic because I can never remember which one's which, and also with Zoom. So you can have one on the shelf and the other one, and then have both of them when you open up and look at all your apps.
And you would think the dots would all be standard, right? You think it's a blue dot or a red dot. They're not. It's all different. It just depends who wrote the app, what dot they put on there. You would think they'd get it all as a standard thing, but it isn't. It's all different. So you gotta, like Hewie says, drives you nuts because you never can figure out.
We don't want to make it too easy for us.
Yeah, which dot? Come on, you guys. That's a dumb thing to do. Anyway, yeah. So you can certainly do that.
All right, we're over a little bit, but
we are. I guess that's it, eh? Yeah. So Merry Christmas, everyone.
Absolutely, and Happy New Year for those who don't join us Monday or Thursday next week.
Mm-hmm. And we will see
those Chromebook people. Use them. If you have questions, holler at us. Both Ron and I use ours a lot, and as does Bob G, and I'm sure a lot of you. So there's lots of people here to answer questions, and use them. They're fun. I love mine. I have it in the living room, and that's what it's my go-to computer most of the time.
Just remember, repower them once a week. If you're just a clamshell closer like I am, or a lid closer, please turn them off and put them back on a week, well, at least once a week, and that'll just switch your copies and make sure you're completely up to date.
Is Joan still on? I don't see her. No.
All right. I guess we'll end the meeting now. We'll see everybody in a month, eh? And we'll get this video out to you probably by tomorrow. So have a Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.